You're watching Live on Lakeside, and if your child isn't getting enough sleep, how is that affecting their health? Good question. Holly recently went out to Akron Children's Hospital to find out. Take a look.
A good night's sleep is the key to a healthy lifestyle, especially for our kids. So what do you do if your children are having problems sleeping? Well, I'm talking to Dr. Krishna today about exactly that. And doctor, I think I want to start with, if your child is having trouble, at what point would you recommend something like a sleep study?
That's a great question, and thank you for having me. Sleep studies are not for everyone, as you can guess. There are some sleep disorders that do require a sleep study to be done. The chief amongst those are sleep breathing disorders. Most common people know it as sleep apnea, and some people know it as stopping breathing in your sleep. People see these as sputtering, gasping, choking, or having other sorts of breathing disorders in sleep. Parents may notice this, friends may notice this at sleepovers, etc. So that is a big chunk of why we do sleep studies, is to rule out or rule in sleep disordered breathing.
So when you're doing the study, is that exactly what you're looking for? Are these breathing problems?
And other things too. So breathing problems is one chunk of what we do. We also do sleep studies for things like movement disorders in sleep. You may have heard of restless legs. Well, a cousin of restless legs, if you were, is called limb movement disorder in sleep. Periodic limb movements and other movement disorders, which may even be something like seizures going on in sleep, may want us to look a little bit more closely at what's going on at night. There are other disorders which are more experiential, like sleepwalking or sleep terrors, etc. Typically, they don't require sleep studies, but sometimes if they become dangerous or too frequent or atypical, then we like to do sleep studies to make sure nothing else is going on.
Okay, so if you're at the point of getting the sleep study, how does it proceed?
So the sleep studies typically begin with a clinical visit. We would like to see these patients in our clinics, decide whether they have a disorder that merits a sleep study. Some of them, like I said, do not need a sleep study. Also, we take direct referrals from, say, area physicians. So it could be a pediatrician who suspects a breathing disorder, or someone, say, who has large tonsils and is snoring, and they're suspecting this in their child, like sleep apnea maybe. They may refer them directly to us. We take those orders and we process them, and then we make an appointment for this child to come to our sleep lab and get a sleep study done, which is typically done overnight.
Okay, and once you are able to establish what it is,
right,
I guess, what are the most common things that you find, and then how are they treated?
So commonly we see one of several things. There are disorders of excessive sleepiness. There are disorders of breathing in sleep, such as sleep apnea. Disorders of excessive sleepiness include things like narcolepsy. A lot of people have heard of that word. These children may be falling asleep in class. These children need a special kind of sleep study, what's called a daytime nap test, a multiple sleep latency test, which we actually run in the day. So we do nighttime and daytime sleep studies, and depending on what study we're looking at, we may find certain things. For example, in a nighttime sleep study, we might see that children stop breathing, their oxygen may go down, their brain may wake up to take the next breath so that they can reset their oxygen again.
Okay.
This may go on and on throughout the night multiple times, and if it happens often enough, we can diagnose this particular person with sleep apnea, for instance. We have a lot of sensors on their bodies to measure leg kick counts, etc., and those give us diagnosis of, say, limb movement disorders. We also have video cameras focused on the children, and we can pick up things like sleep terrors or sleepwalking should they occur.
Okay. Well, we're in a sleep lab.
Yes.
I'm on the parent bed.
Right.
And can you just kind of walk me through some of the things I'm seeing?
Yes. So as you can see, this is a large room. It's set up like a hotel room almost.
Yeah.
And you are on the parent bed in this particular room. And next to us is the child's bed. Typically, this makes the children feel very comfortable if the parent is in the same room as them. We have around us a shelf which has got some gadgets, as you can see. These includes monitors for measuring oxygen at night, for measuring carbon dioxide at night. There's a machine down there that actually gives treatment should a patient need it. For example, someone with sleep apnea may need CPAP to give them the ability to breathe better at night. So we can hook the child up to that. On that stand over there, you can see lots of wires and sensors hanging. These are electrodes that go onto the patient's head and the face, on the nose, to measure breath going in and out, to measure sleep using the brain waves, to measure eye movements to check for dream sleep, to measure snoring. There's a little microphone there actually that goes on the neck to measure snoring at night. There are belts there that go on the chest and the belly, and these belts measure effort to breathe. And there are several other electrodes that go on the legs and on the chest to measure the heartbeat, to measure leg kick counts, etc. We also have oxygen and carbon dioxide monitors. Again, all of this gives a very good idea of what the child does when they sleep. And of course, there's this video camera up there, and that's actually an HD camera that allows us to see what body position a person sleeps on. Is there a particular body position that is good or bad for the child to sleep in, etc.?
Well, it's amazing what you can do, and thank you for all that you do. And here's to healthy sleeping.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
very
Doctor.
much for having me.
All right, thank you so much, Holly. Coming up next, an eyewitness takes us behind the headline-making stories of the 1960s.
This segment of Live on Lakeside is sponsored by Akron Children's Hospital.